Welcome to the Leadership Levers Podcast. I'm your host, Will Gladhart, CEO of Connect to Metrics. At Connect to Metrics, we help organizations strengthen their culture one action at a time. We're here today to learn about the actions leaders have taken to address cultural change. Our guest today is Neil Katz, the CEO of Exceptional HR Solutions. So thanks so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me, and I look forward to interacting, engaging with you, and look forward to hearing more about this and talking with your audience.
I thought we would start today by having you share with our audience a bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So, I have been a human resource leader for over 25 years, supporting industries of all sizes, all types, small, medium, large, international. And I've been doing this for a long time. And about 2 years ago, I decided to actually go full time into providing fractional HR consulting and advising. Small to medium-sized companies throughout the United States. And it's just been a great experience and love helping these organizations support their people function.
We will be discussing 3 questions today, kind of as a warm-up to the start of our conversation. Would you like to share why you believe a healthy culture is critical?
I think a healthy culture is so much to what it drives an organization. And as I always tell the leaders is, do you know what your culture is? And if you don't, you already have one. And it's so important to understand to have a great culture and define that culture and really drive what's important to you as a culture. Cultures can change over time, and we've seen them in our societies, but we also have to remember in businesses, cultures change. And this is a great opportunity for leaders to pause and recognize what their culture is and how we can drive those results and those outcomes through a great culture.
So let's begin with question 1. So what do you see as the biggest challenges that leadership faces for cultural change within any organization?
I think anytime you want to change culture in an organization, first you have to be clear what you're trying to change to. Where's your destination? What are you trying to go to in a cultural change is 1. 2, you have to have the leadership buy-in, and not certain levels. You really have to have the entire leadership team support and be behind that cultural change. Many organizations, you'll see a certain fragment, a certain group of leaders that want to change and transform, but you don't have the entire leadership team support. And then it starts fragmenting and cracking and breaking. And what I always say is when you have a great cultural change and the team's behind it and driving the momentum and excitement, it engages so many people in such a positive way. But you got to have the entire leadership support behind where you're going and realize culture change or any change is hard. To recognize that people are going to struggle in that journey of change to get to that new culture. And it's okay. Support the teams during those challenging moments and challenging times. But ultimately, remember, you're trying to get to the destination. And when you get there, you'll feel it and recognize it. But it can be a bit of a bumpy road getting there.
I love that you identified that specific challenge about not only leadership buy-in, but also leadership behavior across the organization, because we both know that the behaviors of leaders and the communication throughout the organization, those are some of the really most impactful things that can impact change. But I also love that you bring back that having that clarity from the very beginning, where do you actually want to start and where do you want to go? As you said at the start, you have a culture. You just either intended to have it or you didn't intend to have it. And it is something that you need to grow and nurture and change and strengthen over time. What do you think that leaders can do to address the challenges that they are facing in this particular area?
I think the key is understand where your culture is. I think the first step in the journey is understand who you are and where you are and recognize there's parts you might not like, and it's okay, but be aware of who you are today. And then develop a plan and a map to get to that new location, that new destination, which is your new culture. And know that it's going to be hard. And the hardest part sometimes is recognizing not everybody wants to go for the journey together. And I'm using this analogy of the destination and the journey and the trip because it really is that for your teams, that not every person wants to go to the new destination, that new culture. And ultimately, that's tough and it's hard and it's challenging. And you'll do everything you can as a great leader to help your team understand this. But the value and impact when you have somebody pulling you in a different direction, it's not going to help you achieve the goals you're getting to. And culture transformation, when you get there, and I've seen this in a handful of different companies, it's amazing. But the journey, if you look at the journey, it's challenging. But here's what's fascinating and people miss is when you actually get to that new culture transformation you're targeting, the journey becomes a thing of the past and the culture becomes the thing of today. And that's the key to remember is the journey might be a little tough, but get to the destination and enjoy it because it's really a good place when you get there.
I really like that last statement. I think that's something that leaders can really chew on and think about as they're thinking about their own organization, that they didn't get to be a leader by just showing up and being a leader. There was some sort of career path or journey. So, I think that's a critical key point to share. So is there anything else that you would like to share or add to this particular leadership culture challenge?
I think the key is be patient. A lot of people are looking for culture transformation in a week or a month or 3-month period. And it took however many years to get to the culture you have today. You can't transform it tomorrow. You can, and I've seen it done in a few places, but it's usually exceptionally challenging, very difficult, very rocky, and really disruptive for the team. What I always say is, remember, it's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Take your time, build steps, celebrate the milestones as you achieve them, and recognize that you're going to get better each day. If you put the energy and effort and passion you want to into changing the culture, you'll show improvement over time. It just takes time, and it's a journey to get there. And don't be in a hurry to change it tomorrow. And then just celebrate as you along the journey of the milestones you do achieve.
Great. Well, I love that you throw celebration in there as well. I think sometimes that we forget to be gracious, but also forget to celebrate those really winning moments when we get to that next step and recognize that we did a lot of hard work to get there. So any other thoughts you'd like to share with the audience today?
I think just remember every day is an opportunity to make a culture change and a culture impact with your team. And every decision you make is impacting your culture. So just be careful and wise and thoughtful of what you do as a great leader and realize that you can continue to evolve and change it.
Neil, I've enjoyed having you on today. Thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you for joining the Leadership Levers podcast. You may find all our Leadership Levers episodes on our website at connect2metrics.com. Tune in weekly as we invite leaders to share their experiences in strengthening culture, one action at a time.